Here I'm going to do a few more examples on 8.1 dealing with parabolas. So here I want to write the equation of the parabola in x squared equals 4py form or y squared equals 4px form. So in number one here I'm given the vertex and the focus. With the vertex at 3, 6, I need to consider the fact that I have to deal with the h and k part of these equations. And I also have to decide which format I'm using. When you have x squared, let me change my marker color here. When I have x squared, this is vertical. When I have y squared, that is horizontal. So when I look at this, the way I can tell whether it is horizontal or vertical is looking at which value changes from the vertex. If I look at x, the x value stays the same at the focus point. Both are 3. When I look at the y, I have 6 on my vertex and 119/20ths on my focus. So what I need to do is I need to figure out what is the distance between the vertex and the focus. And one way to do this is to take 119 over 20 and subtract out the 6. So, if you think about that, 119 over 20, 6, if you have a denominator of 20 as a fraction, 6 times 20 is 120. So this is 120 over 20, which means I have negative 1 over 20. That right there is my p-value. And also, because my y value is what has changed, I have a vertical parabola. So the form that I'm going to be using is x minus h squared equals 4p times y minus k. When you're looking at the vertex, your first number is h, the second number is k. Obviously, the first number being x of the x coordinate of the vertex goes with the x part of the equation. The 6 being the y value of the coordinate goes with the y value, y portion of the equation. All right, so now I'm going to just plug in the numbers for h and k and for p. So x minus 3 squared equals 4 times negative 120, or 1 over 20, times y minus k, which is 6. When I multiply 4 times negative 1/20th, I will get negative 4 over 20, which simplifies to negative 1/5 times y minus 6. And that is my equation of that parabola. Looking at number 2, I'm given the vertex and the directrix. My directrix is a y equals equation, which means if this is my coordinate plane, y equals 49 over 8 is a horizontal line. So this is a vertical parabola, which means, again, I'm using the x minus h squared equals 4p times y minus k. So in case you haven't realized yet, you always need to have your h, your k, and your p value. So anytime you look at an equation, you need to figure out how am I going to get h, how am I going to get k, and how am I going to get p. Well, if they give you the vertex, they're giving you your h and k. When they give you the directrix, they are giving you the opposite value of p. So this is our opposite value of p. And again, we are looking at the distance away from the vertex. So if I subtract out the 6 again, so 49 over 8, I'm going to subtract out the 6. When I do that, I'm really subtracting out 48 eighths. So 49 over 8 minus 48 over 8 is 1/8. Well, that is my opposite value of p. So the negative value of p is equal to 1/8. So if I divide by -1, p is equal to -1/8. So I've got my p, I've got my h and my k. Now I could just plug in my numbers. So x minus h, or 0, squared, so I don't need to really put minus 0, so I'm just going to put x squared, equals 4 times the -1/8 for my p, times y minus k, so y minus 6. Multiply 4 times -1/8, I will get x squared equals -1/2 times y minus 6. And that is my equation. And now on to number 3. This tells me I have a parabola that opens up or down, so it's vertical. My vertex is -8, 3. And the parabola passes through the point -6, 11. Well, we have our h and k, but what does it mean that it passes through a point of -6, 11? Um, it tells us that we have an x value and a y value. And if we think about our formula, x minus h squared equals 4p y minus k, we have x, h, p, y, and k. In the problem here, we have 4 values, x, y, h, and k. Well, that's 4 out of the 5 variables here. The only one missing is p. So if we plug in all these values, we have -6 minus the h, which is -8. We're going to end up squaring that, equals 4p. Y is positive 11 minus the k, which is 3. -6 plus 8 is 2 squared. 11 minus 3 is 8. So 4 times 8 is 32. So that gives us 4 equals 32p. We divide by 32, and we get p equals 1/8. So we have our p now. We have our x and our h and our k. And we could write x minus or plus 8 squared equals 1/8 times y minus 3. And now we have our equation. So hopefully that helps you with some additional problems that I didn't have in the original notes.